All right, Paul. Well, how much of a boost, firstly, was the win last week, just for the whole morale in the group?
Yeah, I think obviously we needed a win, I think, after a few games without one. So it was nice to get that one. I think I talked about before the game, there's a bit of, I think the girls sense that the pressure is building in a sense, like that we have to win games. So it's also that feeling of relief, like, okay, we've got one done and we can move forward now. So yeah, it's given everyone a lot of confidence. I think the manner of the win as well, coming from 1 goal down to win 2-1 is always an extra confidence booster as well.
You spoke about it after the game, but how important is it now that you back that up against Sydney tomorrow night?
Yeah, I just don't think one win on its own is going to be enough, like, to get you where you need to get to, and that applies to everyone from fourth down. Really, teams have got to put multiple results together to kind of climb ground or get away from people and try and secure their spot. So, yeah, we've got to go to Sydney and have that intent to back it up and get another 3 points.
Are you surprised that they're still at the bottom of the table?
Yeah, I am surprised, and I think after maybe 7 or 8 games, like, people are probably thinking, okay, right, it will change soon, and it is a surprise to see them down there. And I think it's dangerous because, in a sense, they've got nothing to lose, and we've got a lot to lose. And so they're going to play with probably less pressure on them, and they've got really good players. They're still like multiple champions in that team. So it's it's a real potential banana skin for us in that sense, So I'm very aware of the qualities that they have, so we won't be taking them lightly just because of where they are on the table. It's still Sydney FC, they're still at home, and they've still got very good players that can hurt you. So we're going to have to be at our best to get the points.
How much of a boost getting Grace Jarley back as well after a couple of weeks out with the injury? Yeah,
really good. She's been sharp at training this week, scoring goals and linking up with people, and you sort of notice how much we've probably missed her as well. So really good to have her back in the team. Looking forward to getting her on the pitch.
Is she ready to come straight back in, or will she have to be managed back?
Yeah, I think, like, when you've had a few weeks out on the hamstring, like, it's unlikely she's going to play 90, so we'll just have to manage the minutes. But like, just having her back in the squad and back in around the training environment, I think is great. And yeah, you can see she's kind of slotted seamlessly back in again. So yeah, looking forward to having her there.
Mackenzie Barry was a late withdrawal last week. Still not ready to go?
No, unfortunately not. She took a pretty big hit in the Adelaide game and has come up with a bit of a foot injury. It was touch and go, I think, all the way up to kick-off, really, whether she could play, and then the same again this weekend. But it's one of those ones where I think if you push too early, like, it just stays there and you have to manage it week after week after week. And, we've got to be thinking positively about 6 more games plus hopefully playoff games. So potentially, like, another 8-9 games for us. Like, if we push her on that first game in the last 9, then you don't have her for the rest of the season. It could be tough. So we're just managing that process. So it's a little bit touch and go, but she's close, but probably just not quite ready to play.
Are you happy with how Maya deputised at centre back, and as a result, Daisy Brosendale coming into the 11?
Yeah, and look, I think Maya's shown that she's very, very good 6. She's showed early in the season that she's also a very good centre-back. So I think she can play both. I think it shows, like, if you'd be able to flip between the two like that, the quality that you have. We miss, without Mac, we miss a little bit of that recovery speed, which I think Maya's really good at. And also, like, she's good on the ball and kind of brings the ball out, runs the ball out like a midfielder would. So you kind of get a little bit of both sides of it by playing her in there. So yeah, it's pretty helpful. I thought she did a good job last week. So yeah, it's nice when you've got a player like that.
And you're happy to rely on someone like Daisy to come straight back in the side. We spoke to
look, I mean,
19 now.
Yeah, look, Daisy's one of these players where I think, like, I rate her so highly. I've got a lot of confidence in her. But as a 6, like, she's competing with a single 6 with Maya, and that's a really tough ask. As I said before, I believe Maya's one of the best, if not the best 6 in the league. So tough for Daisy to get, like, that regular minutes. But I always trust her when it's her turn to play. And so whenever she comes on, whenever she's starting, I think she does a great job for the team. And so, yeah, I've got absolutely no problem playing her. I think she's going to be a really exciting player for the future. And right now she's doing a good job. So, yeah, trust is definitely there. And I think she'll be back in the team again tomorrow. And thought she played really well against Western Sydney, so deserves to keep her place.
Fern squad out for their 2 games against Chinese Taipei. Great to see, obviously, Alan Longo and Manara Elliott back in. Are you disappointed maybe some others haven't been selected?
Look, for them, obviously, I think if you're not picked, you perhaps disappointed. Obviously, Mac and Jale are nursing kind of injuries, have been nursing injuries, so I think that's probably a bit of a factor. But look, selfishly, from a club perspective, it's actually like good because we can have them with us like all the way through the run in, and they're not kind of going in and out. When you have one or two like we've got here, like it's manageable. When there's like 4, 5, 6, like it becomes really hard to manage it. So just selfishly, from a Phoenix lens, it's not a bad thing for them to kind of rehab properly, get back into the team again, like start playing well again. And then if they play well for the Phoenix for this run in, then hopefully, the window after that, they put themselves back up for selection. So yeah, look, I'm sure they're disappointed, but the only way to get back in again is to like play well for the club, and that will be the focus now.
Maybe Tanaka, you got a massive performance from her off the bench. Is she pushing for a starting spot, or do you like her in that super sub role?
Yeah, it's interesting, like when players come off the bench like that and they have that impact and essentially turn the game around, like it does make you think about like, right, they deserve to start because of the impact that they made. So yeah, we've got a bit of a conundrum with that one. So yeah, we'll probably wait and delay that decision until a little bit later, but look, she did exactly what she needed to do, and I think the quality of both the goals were really, really high. Her one was something that we see from her quite regularly in training, so it's nice for her to be able to put that in during a game, and for her now it's just about having that impact like more consistently for the rest of the season. If she can do that, she's going to add huge value.
And last week as well, it wasn't necessarily a 90-minute full performance, but the back end was excellent. How do you translate that into a full 90 this week?
Yeah, I think definitely there's a confidence thing. When you're sort of fighting and then you go 1-0 down in the manner that we did, it sort of does suck the life out of you a little bit. But what was really important between the goal and half-time was just surviving and staying in the game and not kind of losing ourselves and then unravelling. Then you give yourself a mountain to climb. So I was proud of the way they did that, and then second half was much better, and we sort of had way more opportunities and kind of created some good opportunities to score, and took both of the goals really well. And as I was saying before, I think when you win in that manner and you come from behind, it gives you even more confidence. Now we've got that win under our belt, we'll go to Sydney, and I think you'll see a lot more of us like in the flow.
As well, you've talked about pressure being a new thing for the club as you're really pushing for the playoffs. Do you think that win helps relieve some of the pressure, or does it increase it as you get closer to that goal?
Yeah, look, it's not going away, is it, until like pretty much the last round of the season, when I think it's going to go down to the final day, really. You can see how tight it all is. It's not just for us, but for all the other teams fighting. It's going to go right to the wire. So that kind of pressure sense is going to stay there right to the end. It's just about how you now deal with it. We'll focus on what we can do, what we can control, and kind of our processes, and get confidence from that. But yeah, it's going to be there right to the end of the season, and so it's just a matter of dealing with it.